Good morning, everyone. I thought since I posted a picture of this little bee pick that I made for in my flower pots the other day, I would do a short little tutorial on how to make one. I had an overwhelming response on people wanting me to make them a bee. So if you would like to make one for yourself, this tutorial's for you. You can make it for personal use, or if you make them for pin money, to sell at craft fairs, or if you post it online, just please give credit back to OldeMoonlane Primitives. So let's have fun. This is something that anyone can do. You don't need any sculpting skills to make this. I did pull out a couple banana gourds to show you the different sizes. These are pretty large ones, but I went through my gourds and picked out a smaller, more little round one. What I then did, you notice these small ones kind of have a curve. I didn't want that curve for the bee, so I took just my burning tool, or if you have a little saw, I sawed the tip of it off. And then I took just a regular skewer that you can get those at the grocery store, dollar store. I drilled a little hole and glued it in just so that it was sturdy when I go to put the quikwood on. We're using quikwood today because it actually cures in about 20-30 minutes. So when you're working with quikwood, you want to work pretty quick because it does set up pretty fast. And it's a pretty easy medium to use. You can get this at, I think, Lowe's and Home Depot stores carry it. Not all. I haven't seen it at my local one. You can also order it online. I actually carry it in my shop for students, but I know I've seen it online for sale. So you could probably even go on Amazon to order it. But it comes in a tube like this. It's a two-part mix. You can see the white and the tan. I usually just take my tool, cut off what I'm going to use. Quikwood is something you don't want to start kneading a bunch of it because it's going to dry. You only want to pull off what you're using at the time, or you're going to waste your quikwood. And it's kind of expensive, I think, for just a small little tube of this. But you're just going to start mixing the quikwood, and you want to do that until it's an even consistency. You don't really want to see any, you can see it's kind of marbly, so that means this is not mixed yet. So it takes a little while to mix it. If you don't mix it the whole way, you might end up with something that didn't cure and it's going to be soft, and you really don't want that. So go ahead and mix it. This is about all the more quikwood you need for these bees. So as I'm mixing here, and it doesn't take real long. Now, if you're someone that, I don't wear gloves, I can't wear gloves, but some people choose to wear gloves. Or you can put an extender. It's just regular Americana extender. You can put a little bit of that on your fingers to keep the quikwood from sticking. I usually put a little drop. I'm just using wax paper here for the demo. I usually work on a piece of glass. So that's pretty well mixed now. So I have one of my bees already prepped on this skewer. And what look we're going for is, you can see I had the quikwood around the bottom to make it really secure. And I put his little tail on. So I'm going to pull off enough of the quikwood, kind of roll it out. I'm kind of making like a tube, because I'm going to take that, wrap it around the base of the gourd, and I'm just going to kind of work that in like a little cone shape. Now, I don't want it to look like that. I want it to look like it's blended with the gourd. I don't want it to look like just a blob of quikwood on there. So I take a little extender on my finger. you can actually start pulling it out and smoothing it. Quikwood's nice for just small little projects, or if you're making something and you want something to set up really quick to hold it so that you can move on with your other sculpting materials. It's a real nice material for that. Then you don't have to wait. Like if I use epoxy sculpt, a lot of times I'm waiting till the next day to do the next step. It can take me days to sculpt something. But with this, now I wouldn't want to do a large project with this because, like I said, you would be using an awful lot of quikwood and it'd be really expensive. So I have that smoothed in pretty good. And when it dries, if you notice the slight ridges, you can use sandpaper on this. Now I want to smooth this into the skewer because I also want that to blend, so I'm just kind of taking my thumb to smooth it out. So it's pretty simple. This is a real easy, fun project. The bees look really cute in the flower pots or flower baskets. I'm kind of a bee lover myself. I have a bee farmer that farms the East Coast, and he raises bees on our farm and gives us a few gallons of honey from our farm every year, which is really nice. So that's that. Now I want to actually get my clay ready here. You notice I'm kind of moving quickly because it is quikwood. It's kind of why it's called quick, because it sets up quick. I have like a little tip to put over where I cut off for the tail. Again, smoothing that in. Whoops, bumping the camera. Now if you're not as quick working with it as I am, I've been doing this for 30 years, I suggest only pulling off enough of the quikwood to do the base first and then the tail. But I've just grown accustomed to working really quick. Let's see. Now, I want to give the tail kind of, let me pull this out, kind of that little swirly look. All you're going to do is, once this is blended in really smooth, like I said, if it's not smooth when it's dry, you can take a little piece of sandpaper and smooth any ridges. I'm just going to start pushing in and twisting. And I might even get him just a little tip on the end. And that's pretty much it for sculpting the bee. It's nothing real hard. Anyone can do this. Now I'll set that to cure. It doesn't, like I said, it doesn't take long, 20-30 minutes. I usually give it a good 30 minutes because I want to make sure it's set up. And once they're set up, I have some here ready. I took and painted everything black. You can use spray paint with this as long as, you know, I like using a flat, but this looked like I might have used, maybe it's just the light shining. But there's the basic idea of sculpting the bee. Now I don't have this done ahead of time, but this is something pretty easy. So I took spicy Americana, spicy mustard with just a little flat brush, about the width I wanted my stripes to be on the bee. Now I wanted it to look a little more rustic and primitive, so you don't have to be, I didn't draw lines or anything. You don't have to be real neat with doing the stripes. You may even want to dry brush your stripes on, but I used the spicy mustard for the stripes. When that was dry, I took, which you can tell I use this a lot, my Folk Arc Antiquing Medium, and this is Apple Butter Brown, and I brushed that on my bee. When that was dry, I actually did a splattering technique with the toothbrush. You can see little black flecks. And when that was all cured, I actually took a piece of sandpaper, rough sandpaper, and then roughed it up because I wanted it to look a little more aged. I don't know if you can see it in the camera where I did that. It actually kind of made it look really crackled here and there. It's kind of hard to see. And then I take just plain old wire. I have a roll wire here. Made some little bee wings. I actually took and wrapped it around a paint tube, twisted it, wrapped the other side, twisted it. That then will get attached over the top of the bee, twist it around, and then I'll show you on the demo one. You can see the wire is then wrapped the whole way around the stem. That actually really makes it sturdy, so when you're putting it in the plant, gives it a little more support. I took a bunch of little rusty bottle caps. I just used like a antique white and sort of antiqued it. Brushed on the word honey for honeybee and splattered it with the black paint. Tied on some little cheesecloth strips with some little rusty little pins. I attached a little bit of moss up top, which you can buy it already dried at like Michael's or Hobby Lobby. Even the dollar stores carry it. Around here they do anyhow, and I've seen it at Walmart. But that's about it. Real fast, cute, fun project. I hope you enjoy. Thank you.